Process of beginning your sophisticated narrative, which solves the problem of a crime, begins with the proposal. Let's go over the proposal together. Add your course information. You're going to have a working title. That may change between now and the end of the project, but we want a working title. By now, you have selected an image from the list. You have created a screenshot of that, and you have posted that in the topic lock. Now, for the proposal, we want to just simply remove this and paste in that picture. Go ahead and make it a little bit smaller. We don't want it to be the entire page, and I'm going to go ahead and center that. Now I'm ready to fill in the rest of the template. We're going to start with 2 sentences, maximum, that explain here's what happened. It was a perfectly normal day until whatever it was that happened, or it was a terrible day until this particular thing happened. The claim. This will be 1 sentence where you indicate that an initial survey of the crime scene suggested that what? The support the evidence first noticed was, and this will simply be the list of at least 4 clues. Just 4. You don't need to get into details. The purpose of the proposal is so that I can make sure you're on the right track, you can make sure you're on the right track, and you have a structure for your story that follows the very same structure of any argument essay. Next is the counter argument. So somebody had an alibi, somebody on the scene saw this, they didn't see that, whatever that counter argument would be for the initial claim. So at first it looks like this is a person named Moses. But the counter argument suggests that Moses was clear across town and this could be Taylor. So that's what is meant by this counter argument, where whatever particular first impressions are countered or at least questioned. Next is the summary of the facts. This is just 1 sentence that indicates the outcome. What are you going to be doing? What have you been called upon to do? If there's a narrator, what is the narrator's job? If you're writing in omniscient or first person, what is it that needs to happen? And that is this little summary of facts, followed by the logic and what initial steps. We're only at the very beginning process of this, but what initial steps do you plan to take to solve this crime? The statement of the thesis. Now, a thesis statement is a lesson learned. It's, like don't judge a book by its cover. All the glitters is not gold. Blood is thicker than water, whatever. And this is a neat little link to a place where you can create the theme for your murder mystery or your mystery of whatever type that you're writing, any kind of mystery. And this is just 1 sentence. Now I want you to think about the story as a whole and give a brief 2 to 3 sentence account of what the brief summary of the story is. Next, you're going to simply tell me the primary characters. At this point, you're not required to insert any images. You can describe who the protagonist is, and that protagonist is motivated by what? By greed, by a need for family? What is it motivated by? And the protagonist wants what? And the protagonist really wants what? So if I'm a person who is motivated by fear and I want money, what I really want is security. Do you see that logic? Okay. Do the best you can on this to let us know who the protagonist is. The antagonist, the entity that wants the protagonist to fail, is what's the name of the antagonist? Who wants the protagonist to fail because? What's the motive of the antagonist? And then whatever main supporting characters are, at least 1, they support the protagonist by what? Girlfriend of the protagonist, boyfriend of the protagonist, partner of the protagonist, whatever. Next is an important section because these are decisions you need to make right off the bat. The world of the story is where? And the tone of the story is what? That's 1 word. Somber, happy, joyful, festive, sad, dramatic, whatever. The tone is what you as the writer, as the creator of this narrative, need to have it in your mind what that tone is. And then what's your color scheme? You'll be finding pictures that are like the title image that you selected. What's that color scheme? I want it in your head while you're writing descriptive paragraphs, while you're writing descriptions, while you're including images. So go to Google, type in the words, color palettes for stories, and then click all, see if there are articles if you like to learn that way. Click images if you like to find things that way, whatever your learning style is. And once you pick a color palette, copy an image, paste it in here. It's very simple, just right click and paste. And then you're going to write one sentence. My story is set in the wilderness in early fall. And that's the color scheme that I've gone with. Now, what's the recurring symbol in the story? Remember, all stories, whether you know it or not, have a recurring symbol that tracks the story. So whatever you want to find as a symbol, find it. I'm going to use leaves because I'm in the fall and I want leaves. As the leaf dies, it becomes transparent. And look at this neat picture I found where the leaf has died and become so transparent that we can see who the culprit is right off the bat. The symbol represents the antagonist becomes exposed and can easily be seen. Next, we have point of view, and that's very simple. It's either first person, third person omniscient, narrator, whatever. Then we want to go to our working bibliography. And what does this working bibliography mean? Well, this is what it means. I had to go somewhere to decide whether I wanted to set my tone, wherever I wanted to set my tone, wherever I wanted to set my motif. And I've done some research to find this image, which I found like on a science site. So when I go over to my EasyBib project, I find the project that I created and I export all. Now I have a choice to make. I can export as a Word document or as Google Doc, either one. I'm going to go with Word document, but you can go either way. I click export and I wait, and it's going to show it right up here. There it is. I enable editing, check all my citations, make sure that they're all correct, that nothing's goofy on here. Looks good. I copy this, go back over to my proposal, and right here under working bibliography, remember I got to go back over here to the margin, otherwise it's going to go flazooey, and I paste. There it is. And then I look over my proposal and make sure that everything's in here that I, Professor Hall, need to be able to see your vision. I want you to be brilliant. I want to be able to embrace your vision and see where you're going with this and make sure that we have covered all the bases. Then when you are, you save it as a PDF and submit in the Submit Here tab. That concludes this tutorial for the narrative proposal